Hi folks, Seth here. Thanks for watching my monologue. In these uncertain times, you may be thinking about personal protection. If you are, I urge you to visit my friends at Guns Etc. They'll help you find the perfect protection for yourself and your family, and they can even teach you how to use it. They've been protecting Arizonans for over 33 years, and they stand for the great principles this country was founded upon. Or you can just click on gunsetcetera.com. And if you like my monologues, please subscribe to 960 The Patriots YouTube channel. Welcome back and happy December 14th, 2020. Today I yield a bunch to others here, but before I do, keep two thoughts in mind. If you attack or criticize the press, you are at war with, or starting a war with, or declaring war on the media, complete with putting journalists' lives at risk. Also, if you don't call someone a doctor who has a PhD or EDD and they are a woman, you are a sexist. Never mind if they have a medical degree and you do not call them doctor. You see, the New York Times refers to Mr. Ben Carson, one of the most famous neurosurgeons in the world, as a Mr. Jill Biden, with her EDD, she must be referred to as doctor, and anything less is sexist. And as the Wall Street Journal published an op-ed on Saturday by one of the most gifted public intellectuals in America, one Joseph Epstein, questioning whether we really have to be so scrupulous about conveying the honorific doctor in every referral to Jill Biden, every other major media outlet in the world condemned the Wall Street Journal for publishing that op-ed. While you would almost think someone published an op-ed justifying federal force and quelling violent riots. Wall Street Journal editor Paul Gigot has more guts than the New York Times, though. He's standing by the op-ed that was published, and unlike the New York Times, not firing the op-ed editor. Just to give you a sense of the war that was declared, Gigot wrote the op-ed, triggered a flood of media and Twitter criticism, including demands that he retract the piece, apologize personally to Dr. Jill Biden, ban Mr. Epstein for all time, and resign and think upon his sins. The complaints began as a trickle but became a torrent after the Biden media team elevated Mr. Epstein's work in what was clearly a political strategy. Mrs. Biden's press spokesperson, Michael LaRosa, issued a tweet in early afternoon on Saturday. James Taranto, who's the editor, James Taranto, you, Gigot, and the Wall Street Journal should be embarrassed to print the disgusting and sexist attack on @Dr. Biden running on the Wall Street Journal opinion page. If you had any respect for women at all, you would remove this repugnant display of chauvinism from your paper and apologize to her, close quote. Elizabeth Alexander, the soon-to-be First Lady's communications director, also chimed in, quote, sexist and shameful. Be better, Wall Street Journal, close quote. Miss Alexander called Gigot after her tweet to register her disapproval personally, which is fine. Her job is to flack for her boss, and part of his job is to listen to complaints. He said they had a frank exchange of views, as the diplomats say, and invited her to send in a letter for publication. Meanwhile, Team Biden continued to push the sexist theme. Doug Emhoff, husband of Kamala Harris, tweeted, quote, Dr. Biden earned her degrees through hard work and pure grit. She's an inspiration to me, to her students, and to Americans across the country. The story would never have been written about a man, close quote. Pete Buttigieg's husband, Chasten Buttigieg, tweeted, quote, the author could have used fewer words to just say, you know, in my day we didn't have to respect women, close quote. Why go to such lengths to highlight a single op-ed on a relatively minor issue? My guess is that the Biden team concluded it was a chance to use the big gun of identity politics to send the message. Nothing like playing the left's version of Donald Trump. The press mobilized in opposition. In this case, the Biden team was able to mobilize almost all of the press and join the announcement. Nearly every publication wrote about the Biden response, reinforcing the Biden New York Times line, quote, an opinion writer argued Jill Biden should drop the doctor. This strategy worked. protecting Jill and Hunter Biden during the campaign, so it's no surprise they're keeping it up as they head to the White House. Northwestern University, where Mr. Epstein taught for many years, did its part by denouncing him in a statement and appearing to purge his listing from its website. This is how cancel culture works. Steve Hayward nails it with the truth. He writes, while no one in academia will admit it, an EDD degree is regarded as about the level of an MBA, if that. And how many lawyers demand to be called doctor because their degree is actually a JD, which stands for Juris Doctor. Excuse me, Your Honor, but that's Dr. Dershowitz to you. Yeah, not even that guy. Maybe from now on I get to be called Dr. Liebson. Please no. That would mean Joe Biden is also Dr. Biden. He has a JD, so you can do the whole doctor-doctor thing with both Bidens. Hunter, too. 3 doctors in that family. Back to Steve Hayward, who has a real PhD, not an EDD or JD. He asks, hypothetically, suppose Dr. Biden, Jill, is dining in a restaurant sometime and a nearby diner is suddenly in distress. The host or hostess calls out, is there a doctor in the house? Will Dr. Jill Biden answer the call? Steve writes, if I'd ever actually reserved a table with the name Dr. Hayward and someone was choking, I guess I'd have to say, well, you see, I'm a doctor of philosophy, and a philosophy teaches that there's a time to live and a time to die. But wait, it's not such a hypothetical. As Whoopi Goldberg found out embarrassingly back during the campaign when she suggested on her show The View that Dr. Jill Biden could be our next Surgeon General, she actually said, and I quote, she's an amazing doctor, a great doctor, until another on the panel had to politely, if not a little uncomfortably, explain that Jill Biden was not a medical doctor. She must have been an amazing and great doctor of education. I'm sure Whoopi, of course, read her dissertation. Now, about that desire or order that Jill Biden be referred to as a doctor, back to Paul Gigot. The outrage is overwrought because whether you agree or disagree, Mr. Epstein's piece was fair comment. The issue of Jill Biden's educational honorific isn't new. As long ago as 2009, the Los Angeles Times devoted a story to the subject. Here's from the piece by Robin Abkarian from the LA Times, quote, Joe Biden on the campaign trail explained that his wife's desire for the highest degree was in response to what she perceived as her second-class status in their mail. She said, I was so sick of the mail coming to Senator and Mrs. Biden. I wanted to get mail addressed to Dr. and Senator Biden. That's the real reason she got her doctorate, Joe Biden said, close quote. Now to the university part. Scott Johnson writes, those of us who view the college campus as a hotbed of Stalinism have a current case in point with Northwestern University's treatment of longtime university lecturer Joseph Epstein, easily our most prominent essay. As a result of his columns, Northwestern first promptly turned Epstein into an unperson. Trotsky and Yeskov were disappeared on a slightly longer timeline. You see, Northwestern deleted Epstein's biography from its website as if it no longer existed. Not good enough, though. The English department, speaking ex cathedra, denounced Mr. Epstein. I don't know if they even think about what they are doing. Honestly, you are so afraid of being out of step with the political correctness of the age that you have to tell the world from an entire department you disagree with a singular op-ed from one of your own. Why not write your own damned op-ed? Aha, that's it. You see, most faculty, and I've no doubt this is absolutely true of nearly 99.9% of the faculty at Northwestern, hate that one of their own is more famous and better published than they are, and in the major media, no less. By the way, the Northeastern statement concludes thusly, quote, Northwestern is firmly committed to equity, diversity, and inclusion, and strongly disagrees with Mr. Epstein's misogynistic views, close quote. Equity, diversity, and inclusion. You see, if only for the right political party, of course, and quite truly something else. No equity and diversity and inclusion for a man in Mr. Epstein, who has written 7 serious books and innumerable essays, never mind serving as an editor of one of the most seriously intellectual magazines in the country, the New Criterion. We must defend a person we don't know and would never, if her name was Smith, be accepted on the faculty of Northwestern if she had the same degrees as Jill Biden. That's actually not a small point. Jill Biden's academic career and credentials would never get her an interview on any faculty at Northwestern were her name Smith. But we will defenestrate one of our own, they say, for questioning, frankly, just that point. My good friend and writer Jonathan Rauch has said about the modern university that it seeks to make higher education emotionally safer by making it less intellectually dangerous. The trouble is that intellectually safe spaces are finishing schools, not universities. They can confer connections, polish, and useful skills, but they will not educate, because to educate is to inflict and to endure criticism. He's right. He also once proposed that every college handbook to new students contain this warning, quote, "Warning, although this university values and encourages civil expression and respectful personal behavior, you may at any moment and without further notice encounter ideas, expressions, and images that are mistaken, upsetting, dangerous, prejudiced, insulting, or offensive. We call this education," close quote. Here's the problem. The colleges won't do this because they don't believe it. Here's the second problem. By colleges, I don't just mean staff and administration, I also mean faculty. They don't believe it either. Northwestern is a case in point. You know what frightens me the most about this? Northwestern has and maintains perhaps the most well-known or respected journalism school in the country. God save our schools and students in the profession we used to call journalism. It's all pretty much gone, and it's going to get worse. I'm Seth Leibson. We'll be right back.